Obviously, the club has had a long tradition of success, and we want to go back to that. And that's why Roy and I are working together alongside for the club.
I would say that it was probably one of the games that you will remember all your life.
Success again for Liverpool in their 24th cup tie of the season. They are 24 not out.
It wasn't Istanbul, it wasn't the league title. But in May 2001, in Dortmund, Liverpool felt alive again. Gérard Houllier had taken a club drifting through the 90s and made it believe again. The treble, 3 trophies in one season, felt like the start of something bigger, but it wasn't, because within 3 years that same belief had faded. The man who rebuilt Liverpool was gone. This is the story of how it all began, and how one transfer decision was the demise of a manager that turned glory into regret. When Gérard Houllier arrived in 1998, Liverpool were a team of contradictions, talented, entertaining, but soft. They were known more for headlines off the pitch than dominance on it. Houllier wanted to change that. He brought order to chaos, replacing late nights with early training and fast food with fitness. He demanded professionalism, a word that had almost vanished from Liverpool's vocabulary. He introduced structure, discipline, and modern European methods. He brought through the likes of Jamie Carragher and a teenage Steven Gerrard. He made them believe in hard work again. And by 2001, it had all paid off. The treble. Liverpool were back among the elite. But that was also the moment the cracks began to form. In October 2001, Houllier collapsed at half-time against Leeds United. He was rushed to hospital for emergency heart surgery. For 11 hours, his life hung in the balance. Liverpool stood still without him. Phil Thompson guided them through, keeping the team fighting. But the man who returned months later was different. He had survived, yes, but he was changed. When he walked back into Anfield against Roma, the emotion was overwhelming. It was the comeback of a man who had nearly died. But that passion soon became pressure. Houllier pushed himself too soon, and the strain began to show, not in his health, but in his decisions. The summer of 2002 was supposed to be Liverpool's leap forward. Instead, it became the moment everything began to slip away. Houllier had a choice, Nicolas Anelka or Hadji Diouf. Anelka had been on loan, calm, professional, and quietly brilliant. He fit the system perfectly and wanted to stay. Steven Gerrard later said, "We had the chance to sign Anelka or Diouf, and we got it badly wrong." He called it a complete mismatch.
Was you frustrated maybe at times about elements of the recruitment? I'm not asking you to name names, but elements of the recruitment to actually enhance that spine that you already had in the club?
But yeah, we got recruitment badly wrong at times. I'll give you one example. We had the chance to sign Nicolas Anelka or Hadji Diouf, and we bought Hadji Diouf on the back of a 4 or 5 game period in a World Cup, when we could have bought someone on the back of 5-6 years. That was a decision. I don't know who made the final decision. That was one example of us as a club getting it wrong, because that is one of the biggest mismatches.
Houllier ignored the proven player and gambled on a World Cup highlight reel. Diouf was electric for Senegal, but Liverpool didn't sign the player from that tournament. They signed the man behind the mask. He arrived with swagger, scored twice on his debut, and looked like a star. But it didn't last. The goals dried up, the headlines didn't. He spat at a fan, fought with teammates, and became a symbol of everything Liverpool weren't supposed to be. Anelka, on the other hand, rather than sulking, went to Manchester City and scored 37 goals in 2 seasons under Kevin Keegan. Liverpool struggled, and at the end of the season finished 5th. The momentum was gone, and the team was starting to lose its way. A new season arrived, but Houlier's authority, once absolute, began to fade. He doubled down on loyalty instead of quality. The signings simply didn't have the same impact anymore, and the manager didn't help himself with the player comparisons. Bruno Cheru was called the next Zidane. Salif Diao was the new Vieira. Neither were close. Liverpool's football grew cautious, slow, and predictable. The side that once played with heart now played with fear. Every mistake widened the gap between what Houllier saw and what Liverpool had become. He wanted control, but what he built was stagnation. In 2003, and what would be his final season, he tried to reignite the fire. Harry Kewell arrived from Leeds, a gifted, unpredictable winger who was meant to bring the spark back. But Kewell's body failed him, and so did Liverpool's belief. The season drifted. Houlier's post-match interviews grew defensive, paranoid. He blamed luck, then the press, then his own players. Behind the scenes, he accused them of playing badly on purpose. The man who once inspired unity now looked isolated, fighting to protect what he'd built. Liverpool finished fourth in 2004. Champions League football was secured, but the magic had long gone. Houlier's farewell was dignified. He smiled, thanked the fans, and walked away with quiet pride. A year later, Rafa Benitez lifted the European Cup in Istanbul. And just like that, the club Gérard Houllier rebuilt was reborn, under someone else. Houlier's Liverpool was far from perfect, but he gave the club discipline, belief, and identity again. He rebuilt standards, he gave youth a chance, and he nearly gave his life doing it. But one decision still hangs over his legacy: Nicolas Anelka or El Hadji Diouf. A choice that even now, fans and players look back on and say, changed everything. But that one transfer, that one gamble, cost him the chance to finish what he started. Without Houllier, there would be no Istanbul, no Gerrard lifting the cup, no modern Liverpool. He saved Liverpool from itself, but one wrong decision stopped him from saving it completely.